We can put her into one.
Hello, Lenny. My name's Morgan. I'm one of the doctors.
There are over 63,000 junior doctors working in Britain's hospitals.
You squeeze my hand if you understand what I've said.
As young as 23, they are the foot soldiers of the NHS.
And how are your bowels and waterworks? Yeah, it is not glamorous. It is not glamorous.
Hey, baby. Hey.
They'll welcome us into the world.
Aww, awesome.
Do we have a pulse? No. No.
They will be there at the end.
Just stop.
Cardiac arrest on Findon ward.
Emergency.
All right, don't worry.
But they are working in hospitals that are treating more patients than ever before.
We are utterly, utterly full.
We've got just no room, no beds, no space.
Everything is stretched. We haven't got a lot more to give, and something needs to change.
These doctors have become a symbol of the state of the NHS.
We are doing our best. We are working our hardest, but it's just not enough.
Filmed in one regional hospital at the height of the junior doctor crisis. This series is about the young doctors who are the future of our health service.
To survive as a junior doctor, you must have courage. Courage to cope with what we see day in, day out. Courage to deal with people at the very worst moments of their lives. And courage to work in a system that can't cope with the pressure it's under.
Swab, please. Pressure it for a second. Let's see if we can get control over that again.
In every junior doctor's career, there comes a point where they specialise in their training. Every year, one area of medicine gets more applicants per place than almost any other.
Surgery is an art as much as it is a science, but there are very few Mozarts and Beethovens.
Learned.
Surgery is hard. It's not easy. Not everybody can be a surgeon.
Good.
We're like Top Gun.
That's correct, that's correct.
Almost a quarter of junior surgeons will not make it through the first 2 years of training in that time.
It's very demanding, and it requires sacrifice. Happy to do one next time?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, for you, it was probably easy, yeah.
Thank you very much, Miss Gang. That was bloody brilliant.
32-year-old James is 3 years into his surgical training.
Thanks, everyone. It sounds very cliche, but growing up with things like ER and things like that, being a surgeon always seemed like a very cool and glamorous job to do. Right, give me 2 seconds, I'll be right with you. Hello, sir. So, you have a swelling in your testicle. Which side is it? Both of them. I just thought it would be sort of saving lives on a daily basis, being in theatre all the time, and nurses going, all doctor and all that sort of business, but sadly, well, not sadly, fortunately, the reality isn't quite like that.
James has recently become a registrar, the most senior level of junior doctor. With his new role comes much more responsibility. Today is one of the first times it's down to him to assess any acute referrals from A&E.
One of the challenges James will have is making that decision. Just when is the right time to say, yes, this patient needs an operation, or this one doesn't?
Should we go and see him?
64-year-old George was rushed into hospital by ambulance with severe abdominal pain.
Hello, sir. I'm James. I'm the surgical registrar. Tell us what's brought you into hospital.
Pain in my stomach.
When did that start?
About 12 months ago.
12 months ago?
Well, I've always got pain from the stomach, but some days it's all right, and then other days, but nothing like this.
OK. Any vomiting?
It's worse vomiting. It pulls on your stomach.
OK. What time did the pain start?
The pain's horrific.
James must decide whether George needs urgent surgery tonight.
It's going to lie flat, all right? Is this the worst it's ever been?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's really difficult They've got this pain in their tummy, their blood tests are a bit, their examination, it doesn't really tell you very much. You just don't really know.
Hello, sir. He's ordered a CT scan to investigate the cause of George's pain.
What you don't want to do is to delay operations because you're not confident to make the decision and then end up with patients becoming more unwell because the operation has been delayed.
To me, it looks okay. The reason we did the scan was to make sure there was no hole in from an ulcer or something that was in the stomach. But to my reasonably untrained eye, it looks okay. It's nothing that needs an operation tonight, I don't think.
Reassured by the scan, James decides George will spend the night on the ward under observation, in the hope that he can soon return home.
It is a bit scary, and there is always that fear in the back of your mind that you miss something important.
Right, can I have a 80mm straight graph?
The world of surgery is dominated by men.
16, 18, 20, 22, that's your choice, OK?
Only 11% of all surgical consultants in the NHS are women.
We should have a tongue one side. That's it. Go over the top of that. Over the top. That's it. In there.
What do you think?
Yeah, I'm happy if the rest of the boys are happy.
Surgeons inherently are very competitive. In order to get ahead in surgery, you have to be very domineering to some extent.
Be proactive, OK? If I come to the ward and find patients with breast pain, that is not acceptable.
The fact of the matter is that surgeons tend to be alphas.
I can be pretty nasty, you know.
At Northampton, of the 10 junior doctors training in general surgery, only one is a woman.
Hello. Sorry to wake you up. Hi, my name's Kayla. I'm another surgical doctor.
32-year-old Kayla is from China. Like James, she's been training to be a surgeon for 3 years.
Every single day, every minute, you are competing with very ambitious men, egomaniac men. You have to dress like a man, seriously, talk like a man, think like a man. Just have a look of your tummy. My earliest memory of wanting to be a surgeon as 11 or 12. My best friend actually came down with acute appendicitis. And then she got rushed into the hospital. And then 2 days later, she came back to the classroom and she said, I'm all cured. They took out my appendix and they all got inflamed and 100% back to normal. I just like, wow, that's amazing. So I thought, yeah, I want to be a surgeon when I grow up. Okay, so I believe there's one more before you and you're going after that. All right, then, I'll see you later. Okay.
In the intensely competitive world of surgery, time in theatre is coveted. Today, James has 3 operations on his list, while Kayla has none.
Thank you so much.
The thing about surgery is it's a practical skill. It's like becoming a pianist or something else. You want to have every opportunity that you can get to get into theatre because you know that one day it's going to be you by yourself. I think that she's found it difficult to get into theatre. I've had registrars and I've had to encourage them to push themselves forward.
Can I steal one of your appendix?
Well...
What, you want the open one?
No, that one.
Yeah.
You've done that one?
No, we haven't done that one yet. We're
Wait.
doing that one.
Yeah, you can do that one, yeah.
Okay. Can I have 2 forceps, please? Length.
Having gained a spot in theatre, Kayla will now lead the operation to remove the patient's appendix under the supervision of a more senior surgeon.
Now, can we have the head down a little bit, please? We're all right. No. You need to have lots of confidence in yourself to do well in surgery. In the surgical ward, they don't praise you all the time. They're more of shouting at you the things to do better. And that sometimes knocks my confidence off a little bit more.
Yeah, go in there. Yeah, put your hand. Be careful. Be careful, you don't know what that is. Okay?
Oh.
Keep going on there.
After 40 minutes, Kayla runs into complications.
Can I hold the camera for you?
Yeah, sorry.
The senior surgeon has to step in.
Thanks for taking over. Confidence doesn't really come naturally to me. Maybe I'm a bit, don't know, a bit timid. Not brave enough. So I have to prove myself.
Quarter to recess for transfer, please.
It's 9:45 p.m. In A&E, James has just received the full results of the CT scan for his patient George.
Oh, shit.
What?
So CT report's come back and it shows that there is potentially a perforation in this chap. It means he's probably going to need an operation.
James wants a second opinion. He phones Mr. Kang, the on-call consultant, who's in his accommodation on site.
Hi, Mr. Kang. I'm very sorry to bother you. Do you mind if I discuss the patient with you, if that's okay? Phoning the consultant can be a difficult decision to make because I suppose there's a little bit of a fear of getting shouted at for ringing them for no reason. And I suppose there is a slight tickle of pride in the back of your head that you want to be able to make these decisions and be a grown-up surgeon and manage this on my own. All right, I will sort it out. Yeah. All right, sir. I'm afraid to say I wasn't quite entirely accurate when I looked at the scan, and when the radiologist had a look at the scan, he's worried that you do have a little hole in your stomach. You're going to need an operation tonight.
Okay.
Mr. Kang has come in to oversee James's operation.
Often, people do die from peritonitis. So it's better to operate on these things early rather than let things get out of control. If you leave that kind of situation for 24 hours, it's a completely different ballgame.
Not in a long time, actually. I'm a bit apprehensive because it's sort of one of the first times that I've seen a patient organise an investigation and made a decision about taking him to theatre, really. Certainly feeling the weight of responsibility a little bit.
Diagnosis is correct.
There is always a fear of cocking something up, messing something up that you can't fix.
The hole.
Right, okay.
And then through the hole like that.
Right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. King. Thank you very much, everyone.
George's operation was a success, and he should be able to return home in a few days.
I think now that it's had probably a good outcome, it's like breathing a big sigh of relief. I'm buzzing a bit at the moment, so I don't feel tired. It is a buzz. That's why I like surgery so much, I suppose.
My name is Zishan. I'm from Pakistan. I'm 25 years old. I've just finished an on-call week of 48 hours. Worked Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. 12-hour shifts each day. I think I was very young when I decided to become a doctor. Basically, I've been brought up in a family of doctors. My sister is a doctor in Leicester. My two brothers are medical students, and my dad's a doctor as well. Always used to play with my dad's stethoscope, you know.
First year Zishan is fresh out of medical school, and he's already decided he wants to specialize in surgery.
I want to become a good surgeon. I want people to remember me as a good doctor.
Zishan's chosen surgery as his first rotation. He's got the next 4 months to prove himself.
It's my day off today, but I've decided to go to theatres because today I don't have any ward responsibilities, so I can spend my day all day in theatres.
Going to theatres puts a smile on my face. Doesn't matter if I have to work hard to go there. I don't mind starting my day early on. Good morning, Tracy. You seen Mr. Kang yet?
Nope.
Coming. What time is he coming? Do you know?
He comes when he comes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Kang is one of the general surgeons. He's very experienced. I'm keen to impress Mr. Kang because I think that's the only way he's going to teach me more. Seen Mr. Kang anywhere?
He's just very enthusiastic for someone so young.
I don't want to miss him. Oh, there he is. Sorry, I couldn't find you yesterday. It's my day off today. Can I join you? Is that all right?
Yes.
You're doing a reversal of loop ileostomy and lab chole.
That'll be later on, but we've
Okay.
got Rex checks you first. More than welcome.
Thank you so much, thanks. People expect from you a lot more in surgery than in other rotations. I mean, if you make a mistake, you make a mistake. That's fine, it's done. But the expectation is not to make a mistake.
With a full list in theatre today, the scrub team are under time pressure to get the operation underway.
Zishan, do you want to catheterize it? Go on, wash your hands.
Yeah.
You should have put that in by now. Come on.
Sorry.
Never touch the catheter.
Yeah.
Just put it on the top first. You need to push more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Push. That's it. Yeah. Done. There it is.
Sorry for the wait, guys.
Under the leg.
Sorry for the delay. Go get scrubbed. A lot of things going through my mind. Did I let them down? Was I slow? I don't know. So many things going on. Sometimes when things are not going right, you can feel your heart beating really fast.
He's overly hard on himself. He's only in the first steps of his career. And to have such a self-expectation that you're going to achieve X, Y, and Z at such an early stage is asking a lot. It's good that he's enthusiastic, but I think he needs to just pace himself.
Like Zishan, Kayla moved to the UK to practice medicine.
My parents always want me to be a doctor. They're actually the main driving force for me to becoming a doctor. Back home, they think doctors earning lots of money and they think it's a comfortable lifestyle, which is completely wrong.
What I'll do is I will pass that through the abdominal wall. So what I'll need you to do is put a grasper down and pass this tube.
Today, Kayla is assisting Claire Brown, the only female consultant general surgeon at Northampton.
Just press your finger over it. Being female doesn't stop you becoming a consultant surgeon, but there are fewer women at the top. Now, you might struggle doing this. I'll just come your end and help you. Yeah. I've seen many female registrars become disillusioned, and many junior doctors say that they would not want the lifestyle of a surgeon. So you want on the left rotation now?
No, I'm trust doctor. Because I don't want to move around.
It's not so bad if you're single, but if you're married...
Yeah, have a child. I got a child.
You've got a child?
Yeah, I got a 3-year-old. He's in China, I'm here. He's with my parents. I know, that's what I'm saying. It's crazy, isn't it? It's like I'm stuck here and then he's there, yeah.
Oh, you poor thing.
So, yeah. I have a son, 3.5 years old, full of energy, very active, can never sit down for 1 minute. Tie me up, please. I see him every 3 months, every 4 months when I go home.
In a minute, you will see the string coming in. There, right, okay. I'm going to come back with my camera so you can see what you're doing.
This job is too demanding. It's just not feasible for me to bring him over here. I can't look after him. I have to get a full-time nanny to look after him. I just simply can't afford it. Yeah.
Right, okay, now put your brass in.
Jesus, hold on. Close it for me. Close it.
I think the thing about surgery is we are required to do very unsociable hours, but trying to find childcare for those unsociable hours is almost impossible.
Come back. I'm quite far back, okay?
I'm divorced and I have a 5-year-old son. And I couldn't manage without a complete network of people who go out of their way to help me, as well as the childcare that I pay for. And it's a big issue, and it's not just an issue for women. Men want to be part of families as well. It's an issue for them as well.
It's my son. Been naughty in school and got caught red-handed on camera.
How old is he?
3. Now I'm going to tell him, make sure. I know I'm not going to be a good surgeon if I have a son at home. You can't be a good mom and be a good surgeon at the same time. Then you might just pick one and sacrifice one.
It's 9 a.m. and James is on ward round with his team.
Good morning, Mrs. Barnett. How's your foot been over the weekend? Is it giving you any pain?
Well, it is.
83-year-old Dorothy was admitted 2 weeks ago with a gangrenous foot, a potentially life-threatening condition.
So we got a slightly difficult problem, haven't we?
This in terms of our aims.
Well, this is not going to heal. This is not going to heal up. Okay. I think that if we amputate her leg, that actually it's not going to prolong her life.
No.
Mrs. Barnett, what we're saying is whether you want an operation for us to do an amputation of your leg.
Ooh. Does it have to go that way?
No, it doesn't have to go that way. It doesn't have to go that way. For whatever reasons, be that what's going on in primary care and in social care, the patients are getting older, the conditions that we are seeing are more complicated. So we have to make sure that we're giving the trainees exposure to sometimes some complex decisions so they are able to make those decisions confidently and correctly.
OK, so there's a lady called Dorothy Barnett who came in with a gangrenous left hallux that is almost sort of detaching from the main body of the foot.
She's got dementia. She's in either a nursing home or a residential home, and we got that decision, are we going to do an above-knee amputation, or are we actually just going to wrap up the foot and send her back? As a surgeon, it is so much easier to offer an operation, and we find saying no really difficult. But there's evidence that tells us what the likelihood is that somebody like Mrs. Barnett would survive an operation. And the statistics would suggest that she probably won't. What is the right thing to do?
I'd like you to eat try and eat a little bit more, keep your strength up.
With surgery unlikely to improve the quality of Dorothy's life, the team have decided that no further intervention is the kindest option.
All right, I think the doctor's going to come and talk to me in a minute.
It's down to James to have the end-of-life conversation with Dorothy's son.
Hoping.
Yeah.
OK?
That's fine.
Yeah. See how we get on.
Right.
Just try and rest in that, OK?
Yeah.
Quite often, if I'm on the ward, we will do those conversations together. But of course, the difficulty with that is that the patients and the relatives will always look to the senior doctor. And it's very difficult for the senior doctor not to take over, so the registrar then becomes just an observer. And so occasionally it's really important that they step inside the curtains and that they have those conversations, because you only learn by doing them.
So, what's your understanding at the moment about where we are and what we're doing? That
Well,
sort of thing?
I know you're doing the live treatment to give that a go, see if it would help with the wound.
there is nothing that we can do to heal the foot.
Yeah.
As we said last time, the only thing we could do really is a very high amputation above the knee. We have to start to think about what we would be doing it for. I don't think it would help to prolong your mum's life.
Oh, I understand.
And if it did, I don't think the quality of her life would be any better than it is now. Because I think the main things we have to start to think about are making sure she's comfortable and not in any pain, which I don't think she is at the moment. So one possible way forward is to say, stop the antibiotics and really make sure your mum's as comfortable as possible, and that's the ceiling of our treatment. So again, we try and get her out of this noisy, not very nice environment and keep her as comfortable as possible, and say that we should think about not bringing her back into hospital.
Okay.
Because, as I say, we have to start thinking about that this what's going on with your mum is going to be the cause of the end of her life. Yeah. And we want to ensure that we're, in terms of her passing away in the best way possible, in terms of not being any pain, you know, dignified, all those things, the best thing for her.
So what sort of time frame are we talking about?
We're thinking probably weeks to months kind of thing.
Yeah. As long as we can make sure we keep her pain-free, that's all I'm worried about.
Absolutely. Any questions or anything, we're here, okay?
Yeah. Thanks for understanding.
All right,
Thanks very much. Cheers.
So those conversations are always very difficult to have because you have to strike a balance between being not blunt but fairly direct in the way that you talk to people, because you don't want any misunderstandings.
All right, I'll come and see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay?
Being a fairly new registrar, these are the sort of first few times that it's fallen to me to have those kind of conversations. So it is difficult.
Right, 亲爱的。
Trainee surgeon Kayla is a single mum. Her 3.5-year-old son Zach lives with her parents in China.
嘿，是什么剑来着？哦，飞轮，给我飞下看看。哎呀，好厉害呀！When I first left my son in China, I just thought, what a horrible mother I am. Leave my child alone. 你给我转转看看。啊，我看着。嘿，好厉害呀！真能干。It's about a year now since I last left him in China. 看到你的小肚皮啦！ Yeah, it's really sad actually, because I see him on Skype, but I can't touch him, can't kiss him. 我先挂掉吧。My parents always say, "Oh, don't worry, he get on just fine. He doesn't ask you all the time." But I feel really guilty about it because I'm supposed to be there for him all the time. Oh, yeah.
Kayla still has at least 6 years training before she'll qualify as a consultant.
Thank you. For a few months, I'll be thinking, yeah, surgery is a good idea. I can still make it financially and can get my son next to me. And then the next 2 months, I'll be, well, I'm still doing surgery. My son's still far away, and financially, I'm not better off at all. So yeah, I mean, I've been back and forth on whether giving up surgery or not for a good while.
That's good, yeah, that's good. Yeah, you're doing beautifully.
Giving up something which you've been working towards for the last 6 to 7 years, and suddenly you have just to give it all up. It's really difficult to swallow, actually.
The thing that I find most difficult with surgery is that you can't predict when you're going to leave the hospital. And it would cost me £2,000 a month. I was quoted to have a nanny here.
Yeah. And just to earn about that much every month, it's no point. Well, I have more sort of guilt towards myself if I'm not there, but I don't know how some bloke feels.
Well, Kayla, I would say I was an awful father. But I did have someone who was full-time looking after my children.
Yeah.
Whatever people say, women have a much more difficult time of it, because they are expected to do everything.
Yeah.
If people ask me about doing surgery, I ask them to think very hard about what they want from life. Now we are under so much scrutiny and so much pressure that it is very hard not to be worrying about patients when you get home, not to be thinking about them.
You're okay?
Because we all feel personally responsible for our patients.
240 as a stat.
And I think that more than the physical hours, for me, is the biggest problem. It's very hard to know who to put first sometimes.
Hello, Mr. Kang.
For first-year Zishan, commitment is paying off, and he's spending more time in theatre with Mr. Kang.
Right, Zishan, port insertion.
Every day is a new learning day. You learn a lot.
To get it, twist.
He's a great teacher. He's a very nice mentor, and I'm happy that he's teaching me and I'm learning from it.
The port's gone in. Yeah. Looks nice. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Job done.
The whole experience is just amazing.
But time at the operating table has to fit around his other jobs, and Zishan has night shift responsibilities. He's overseeing around 200 patients across 7 different wards with an on-call team as support.
Hello. Do you know who the nurse in charge is? Are there any medical patients you guys are concerned about? Are you concerned about anyone scoring high or can become unwell overnight?
When I was a junior doctor, things were different. We certainly didn't have the volume of work we have now. The number of patients you're looking after has increased, no doubt about it.
I know both of us are very busy, but I'll do it as well. Hello?
Over the last 3 months, Zishan's chosen to work way beyond his contracted hours.
Okay, can you hear me now? All right, that's fine, sir. Can we check the BM, please? Can anyone get me some blood sets? I need to do some bloods and ABG on this gentleman. Hello, hi, doctor. My name is Zishan of the surgical F1.
Put anyone in any career and put them in a very intense situation for a prolonged period of time, eventually they will fatigue and eventually they will crack.
Yeah, there's other stuff.
How do you feel?
Feel sleepy.
At the end of his shift, Zishan has 12 hours off until he's due back in.
What's the plan for the day?
Basically, just gonna go and see if there are any surgeries planned for today. If there is anything interesting and exciting in the theatres, might just scrub in. If not, then I'll just go back, sleep.
Zishan's work ethic has not gone unnoticed.
The one thing, as a word of caution, I would advise you is you've got to pace yourself over the time. You're very intense, and that serves you well in some regards, but we don't want you burning out after 2 years of surgery. It's a long road. It takes anything up to 10 to 12 years to train up to be a consultant. And it's important that you spend time doing other things as well outside of work.
I think my intensity and dedication comes from the fact that I want to make most out of it. I like this career and want to do it.
None of us that have gone through what you're going through now in the past have been as intense at such an early stage, and there's a good reason for that, because we know that when you start out, it's hard, but it can only get harder as you climb the ladder.
Thank you so much, Mr. Khan.
We have to make sure that all doctors are supported in their working environment. Zishan at the moment, he has all the tools he needs, but he does sometimes need to just slow down and appreciate that he's at the beginning of the journey and it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Hello, sir. My name's James. I'm the surgical registrar. Tell me what's brought you into hospital.
James is also facing long hours.
Cough for me.
It's 6 p.m. and he's already halfway through a 24-hour on-call shift. Tonight, he's the most senior surgeon in the hospital, with consultants contactable at home.
I think you've probably got appendicitis. You're going to go to theatre. Someone needs to come back and talk to you about the operation. OK. I get a bit stressed when I'm on call. You're being pulled in so many directions all the time. Hello, surgical registrar on call. It's about juggling, prioritising things in your mind as to what's the most important. Wait, who? Which? Which one? OK. Trying to keep everyone happy. Should you not go to the diabetic foot team? That's not a vascular issue. We've got lots and lots of patients to see, and for every one we see, we seem to be getting referred to, so it's not, we're not winning at the moment. I think the pressure point needs to be here.
Yep. Thank you.
Sorry, it took a while. We're a bit busy down there, ain't we?
James is now 18 hours into his shift and about to operate for the 3rd time.
Who is it?
Hold on, I'll let you speak to him.
Hello?
When I just get it.
Yeah. Danny, that is. What operation she had? For? I have no idea what you're talking about. OK. It's a fairly low priority, I'm afraid, at the moment. Right. I mean, why are you ringing me at 2 o'clock in the morning with this? All right, give the details to my colleague and I'll see her in A&E. All right. Fucking hell.
Ready, steady.
You know, it's mentally very exhausting. You have to think all the time about what the right thing to do for this actual person is.
Are you going to sleep as well?
A little bit.
Huh?
A little bit.
James is near the end of his shift, but the long hours have taken their toll.
Really bad stomachache.
Oh,
I'm just going to take some paracetamol. The hours never really bother me that much, I have to say. I don't mind working hard. That doesn't bother me. Oh, but in those circumstances, there are times where you don't drink or eat anything, as I found to my cost. Oh, my God.
So as we're approaching now, we'll see his stone is here. Can you see that? That is his stone. Yes, so one shot, please, and flip it to the other side. Could I have a basket then, please?
It's been 2 weeks since James complained of stomach pains during his on-call shift.
Got home from work and had some fairly bad tummy pain that I thought was just tummy pain, but it didn't go away and didn't go away, and it got worse and worse, and eventually my girlfriend made me go to the hospital, and it ended up being a kidney stone, quite a big kidney stone. It needed surgery to be removed.
OK, I'm happy with the fluid now, thank you.
It's probably unquestionably due to chronic dehydration.
Got laser goggles on, please.
Since I've been diagnosed, I've talked to a few people around the hospital about it, and it's surprising the amount of people that said, oh, I've had a kidney stone before.
And what I like to do is make sure there's no little fragments left over. So I'm going to use my basket as a guide. Okay.
I think it's inevitable. You know, we are in a pressurized environment, we're in a pressurized world, and as doctors, we're not immune to all of those things.
See that? Now it's moving. See how the stone is now moving because I broke it into a few pieces. And then
A lot of the solutions are expensive. And so we would say, increase the number of consultants, increase the work staff. And that's not possible in this current environment.
So I'm not going to have to go into this gentleman's kidney. So James is going to get away with rigid uteroscopy, and he'll go home by lunchtime tomorrow. And then hopefully he can go back to work next week.
Six years into her career, Kayla is now questioning her future as a surgeon.
It's an interview invitation for GP interview. So I've been playing around with the idea of go for a GP training rather than carry on with the surgery, because GP just seems a lot more flexible at the moment, and so I can bring my son over and have a, what they call work-life balance.
A week later, she's heard back about her interview.
In February, I'll start my GP training, so I'll bring Zach over, and so by September, he can be enrolled into a school locally. I chased my dream, and it's time to settle down, do what I'm supposed to do, take my own responsibilities with my son.
When junior doctors see the impact that it potentially has on anyone else in your family, they say, I don't want to do this, which is quite reasonable. I think it's a great pity that she's chosen not to carry on in surgery.
I'm sure I'm just one of those statistics of another female registrar didn't make it to the top. So I just want to have a happy life, a normal life together.
6 days after his operation, James is back at work.
It's not just a job. Whatever you say, it's not just a job. You go home, you lie in bed and you think about the patients you've seen, the things that have gone wrong, the things that have gone really well. I'm not going to say, you know, I'm a martyr, but at the same time, it does occupy sort of, I would say, 80% of your waking time. But I'm okay with that. I can't really think of anything else I'd want to do.
Right, how are you, James? Have you recovered from your life-threatening illness? Yeah?
Yes, Mr. Governor.
Waterworks okay?
Waterworks are fine, yes, thank you very much. Fortunately, still here.
We are increasingly aware of the physical and mental stress on doctors. There are consultants within our hospital who've had early heart attacks, who have gone off on stress leave. You know, you hear intermittently of doctors who've committed suicide. These are all a feature of the stress of the career of the profession.
See you later. Thank you.
We should care because junior doctors are the future. You know, if we don't look after them, they will leave the NHS. If they leave the NHS will collapse.
Today is the last day of Zishan's 4 months in surgery.
Hi, Hina. You ready for bed? Feeling a bit down, leaving this team and this place. Knock, knock. Can I come in?
Yes, we're all decent.
Hello, hi. I started this as the first job. Absolutely no idea how to do stuff. Learned it from day one. What I'll do is I'll prescribe naproxen on the PRN side whenever he requires it with the gout, so we'll take it. I don't want to give regularly because he's on so many other medications. Thanks.
Thank you.
You're welcome. There's a steep learning curve, and now I know everything. Hello, Mr. Kang.
Zishan, how are you?
I'm fine. Today's my last day. I'm very sad, Mr. Kang.
Why are you sad?
I don't know, I'm feeling sad leaving this place. I'm not leaving the hospital.
You're not leaving the hospital, you're still going to be here?
I'm basically planning on coming back on weekends and the days that I'm getting off because the rota is quite flexible.
That's not a problem.
I just wanted to say thank you for all your help and the teaching you give me. I've learned a lot of valuable lessons, and thank you so much.
See you.
See you soon.
Enjoy medicine.
I genuinely think we complain a lot about the system. I think NHS is the best system to work in. Where does it happen? Name a country where it happens. You know, you just wake up, walk to A&E, you'll be seen by a consultant, you refer to a specialty, you get treated free of cost. You're home. As I said, we complain a lot.
Click on screen for more videos of extraordinary humans.